Well, sir, good day.
Yep. Hello.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfect.
Perfect.
You can hear me good?
Well, good. I'm gonna
You
have
hear
to
me
turn you
okay?
up just a little bit.
Oh,
Ah,
check, check, check. I mean, uh, I'm not loud enough.
I don't know. Let's see.
Can you hear me now?
Sounds like my first show. Oh my goodness. It's good to see you. Thank you for taking
Good
time
seeing you.
today.
Yep. It's
All right, let's see. We've got quite a few folks in chat. Oh, you know how to get to the chat, don't you?
yeah,
Okay.
but I'm not. I mean, I just brought up. I just thought about it, and I'm bringing up the laptop to go to YouTube.
All right. You're ahead of me. Good deal. So we've got all sorts of characters in the chat today.
Nice.
Tommy Willis is selling a PTZ camera for $15, but he bought it new 1,000 years
Eastern.
ago for 45. John O. Knutson, formerly of Bird Dog, in the chat. Michael Quist, 1.5 million views, all on YouTube. Actually, all on YouTube. There are more than that, Michael. I'd forgotten. I'd forgotten about Bamboozer. You remember Bamboozer, Amnon?
Oh yeah.
Didn't you stream on Bamboozer forever?
What? Say it again.
Bamboozer. You
Yeah.
streamed
Oh yeah. I
streamed
was using
streamed.
it until I was using it until they went they started charging.
Ah, yes. And what was the one that we streamed on way back in the very beginning? Oh, golly, I'll have to dredge out the name. Yes, Tommy, it is Amnon. The famous Amnon Nissan Communications, Raleigh, North
Why
Carolina.
can't I every time I try to go to the Eastern Shore Broadcasting, I'm getting in trouble.
We probably blocked you.
Okay. He wants me
That's
to
just how it
allow, and
goes.
he wants me to allow.
So let's see. Do we have a noise filter on this today? We do. How about
Okay.
that? Okay. I'm going to drop it down a little bit about
Watch
there.
live. And then come on.
So you're not in your normal uniform today.
I'm what?
You're not in your normal uniform today.
I mean in the summer I wear shorts and the shirt. That's the shirt.
I love it. I love it. I remember I had Paul Richards with PTZ Optics on a show one summer, and he came on the show and he said he wasn't wearing pants. And
Yeah. It
to
was
me
oh,
that means
I
you're
trust
just
me.
walking around.
I'm wearing pants.
You're wearing pants, but he said he wasn't wearing pants. So for me, that was like, okay, he's just walking around bottomless. But what he meant was he was wearing shorts. But it was a language barrier. So yeah, there we
All
go.
right. I think oh, wait, I need to sign in.
Michael Quist is asking for a short presentation of Amnon. Um, well, Michael, rest assured you will have a very short presentation of Amnon, but it will be from 2012. We've got it queued up and ready to go.
All right. I think I'm in the chat.
You're in chat. Okay.
I'm in the chat as who? I don't know.
Tommy says his camera is $20. He bought it on eBay, not new. Can he put a link in? Yes, Tommy, you can put a link in. It should pop up here and allow me to approve it. But if it doesn't, my apologies. Let's see.
I'm here as Nissan
Okay,
Communications.
there you go.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
It's the default.
Yeah. There it is. Tommy posted his link. Do I have authority to, let's see, report, remove, put user in timeout? No, I think we'll just leave it as is. That's good. Yeah, Michael, this is definitely, I mean, not that Amnon and I are oldies. We are just well-traveled. Um,
Look, I don't hide it anymore. June 8th, I turned 76.
no way.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I
And
thought you were still in your 60s. Get
and you just
out.
and you just gotta keep pushing. Let me see
76.
what happens when I do this.
Okay. We go off into infinity
Yeah, okay, never
and
mind.
we change the color when we do. So we're still in pre-show.
Yeah, yeah,
We got 10 minutes left. Um, and Amnon, let me tell you what I'm looking at in front of me. I've got a 55-inch TV behind my
okay,
PTZ Optics Move 4K 12X
yeah.
camera, which by the way is a terrific studio camera. And on that TV, I have a vMix full screen, which shows you right before the camera, right behind the camera, so I can maintain
Oh,
eye
so
contact
when you're
with you.
looking, yeah.
And then just off to your right shoulder is me. So if I do something different, I mean stupid, I can see it out of the corner of my eye. And then right above you is the clock. And then to your left, to my right, is the chat. So I've got the whole thing up there
Yeah.
where I can see this.
Well, the monitor where I'm looking at you is
Yeah,
right behind the camera I mean, right now I'm looking at you. Right
right.
now I'm looking at the camera.
Do that again. Okay. Can hardly tell the difference.
So, well, this is how all the cameras are set up like that. So when people are looking, they see what I mean when somebody's sitting across and they're talking to their guest, they have a little monitor, a 7-inch that shows them the program and the
Yeah.
cameras are behind it. Yes. So and I learned that from you.
You sure? You
Yes.
sure I didn't learn that from you?
Uh, actually, the first person that did it, what's his name? Willis. What's his name?
Vance.
Vance.
Yes.
Vance had glass, and behind it was the camera, and the monitor was reflecting in the glass. So he was looking dead at the camera. Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
That's funny. Studio Tech now. Studio Tech.
yep,
Yep.
yeah. I
Mark
don't know.
Johnson.
They don't do that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Mark Johnson, Vance Willis.
Mark.
They
Yeah.
haven't done that in years, but boy, that was the greatest show back in the day.
Hmm. Yep.
Oh my gosh. And they were the first ones to do that I know of to do a live show that had Skype, and they would talk back and forth live on Skype. That's how they did it back then. And the
I
show
don't
that you and
remember.
I did back in 2012 was not live. I didn't realize that until I checked it just a few minutes ago. We had pre-recorded it the day before because I didn't know how to get it live.
I, again, be honest, I don't remember.
Well, I've
All
got it on.
I do remember the time that you were here and we did the show,
Yes.
that it went out in 240 instead of going out. And I didn't know because everything looked great on the screens.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh.
Did you find out anything about Zoom lowering the no.
No. Haven't been there. Let's see what you're coming in at. Um, you're coming in at 360. So
Yeah,
it's
it's
probably
still
on
I
my
don't
end. Zoom has to do something to unlock HD for the vMix plugin, and I need to inquire
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
Now, Michael Quist is asking, what is it that, how are we doing this today? What's our technical setup between you and me? And Michael, Amnon and I had a tech check session yesterday. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done something like that. That was a blast. And we started out with vMix Call,
Right.
and we had an echo issue that we couldn't solve
Couldn't fix.
easily without reconfiguring Amnon Studio. And
Yeah.
I had never done a Zoom call using the integrated Zoom and vMix. And so we tried that yesterday, and the audio was perfect. And after we figured out how to turn on video, it worked.
You see that's I never was even aware that Zoom was an option within vMix.
It's new.
Yeah, well, I'm
It's
wondering
new.
if that's what it is. I mean, it's because all the shows that I do here, and we're using Zoom, but I'm using the desktop application, and I
And you're
just
doing a screen
capture,
capture. Yeah.
and it comes out just fine. And I was trying to look here to see
Well, you look better than
what
you
it
did yesterday. You must have been in
what
I said you look better than you did yesterday.
every day I get better looking.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. That is too much.
But
That
you
is
know
too
what?
much.
So yeah, so this is how we are connecting between us.
Yes.
And I mean, just one button punch on the Stream Deck away, and it will go to Facebook and YouTube and D Live and all these other uh platforms that I use for Nissan communications.
You're
And
amazing.
and I mean,
Let's don't
since the
talk about that yet. Let's don't talk about that yet. I want to
okay,
save that
all
for
right,
for the real
yeah.
show. We're still in the
Sure.
pre-show.
Yeah, I see that. I no, there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
And I don't have a countdown here on this one. I should, but we've
it's
got
fine.
about 2.5 minutes left of the pre-show.
It's fine.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but my chat is. I mean, now I'm looking at the chat, so it's not as seamless as yours.
well, it would have been if you had a time.
Well, it would have.
All right, let's see. Michael Quist wants me to show that view. Um, I think he means the view of what I'm seeing. So I can pop that up there. This is what I see. It's quick and dirty, but
Yep.
it's got Amnon right in the center, so I can make good eye contact with him. And I'm just off to the side, as you can see, so I can make sure that something stupid doesn't happen to me. And then I've got a clock that I can glance at very easily, and then all you guys over to the right. So yeah, there we go. That's the story
Yeah.
behind the scenes. Yep, it's just a working. It's a work in progress, as everything
Always.
is.
Always.
Amnon, isn't everything always a work in progress?
Always. I mean, the minute it becomes a ah, routine kind of thing, then it loses something.
Yes, but there's always progress to be made.
Yep.
And one of the things I dearly love about vMix and and um, and Martin and Tim and Heath is that those guys are willing to take a big challenge. You know, you want to integrate Zoom into vMix. Nobody's ever done anything like that before, but they got up with Zoom and said, "Let's do it." You know,
It
and
was a
they
lot it was a lot easier in the past to do that.
well, they
You
only did
could,
it
I
6
mean,
months ago.
no, few years ago. Because if you right click on desktop, there is vMix in there, but it doesn't come up. something that Microsoft changed some years ago.
Huh.
And the screen now, when you go and you click, I want to capture vMix, it's
Yeah,
black.
yeah.
So, and
No
I
telling.
mean, yeah,
No
it
telling.
it was now I didn't try lately to see if it's still like that, but it was something to do. Yeah,
It's and or the video driver. Yeah. Um, I just do the monitor capture and then arrange the
yeah,
monitor however I want it. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Tommy says you're at 360 and you're very sharp.
I mean, maybe they did something. I don't know.
No, no, you're at 360.
No, I
You're at
mean, maybe. Well, how come it's very sharp?
because you look
Let's see.
good.
Ah, oh, you mean I'm dressed sharp or I look real?
You are you're a good what is it? A fine dressing man. All right. Let's
That's
do the
interesting.
show thing.
Let's do
Um,
the show.
yeah, and I think I'm going to I don't know what I'm gonna do. Let's get started. I'm hitting the as usual. I have in front of me my X keys, XKE,
Hmm.
XBE 96, because it's a 96 key, and I still haven't populated it all. But the two pink buttons right there allow me to do this. Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Love that. Thank you again to Martin K for making that so many years ago. This is going to be a fun show. It's not going to be exciting. It's not going to be groundbreaking. There's no tremendous new technology that we're going to introduce today, but we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. Because today, well, not actually today, but a couple of days ago, was the anniversary of the first ever broadcast of this show. Back then, it was known as That VidBlaster Guy. Didn't take long for me to realize I couldn't tie the name of the show to a product. It had to be broader than that. So I was in the shower one day and it just came to me. It's got to be Streaming Idiots because everybody that streams sooner or later does something to make themselves feel like an idiot. They forget to press the record button or the stream button or the camera's pointed the wrong way or the microphone's off or you know the deal. There's always something and you just go, "Oh, I'm an idiot." So I thought, let's get all the idiots together in one place and we'll have a kind of a weekly party celebration of all our idiocies and the things that broke and the things that did well. And one of the first people to sort of join me on this journey, although I'm not going to say he's an idiot,
I am.
he's well, you're not yet. You're not yet on the show. You're back in the green room.
Okay.
I left your mic on. I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, let's just bring him in. Let's just bring him in. There we go. So, Amnon Nissan, welcome, sir. Glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm glad to do it again.
We are enriched by your presence. You guys don't know about this guy, or you may not know much about him, but this guy, well, let me just roll the tape. Sit tight. Let's roll the tape. This is from the very first show. And I've got two clips. So let me play the first clip that introduces the show, this show, the Streaming Idiot show back then called the VidBlaster Guy show. And then I've got a clip that introduces Amnon way back when. So with no
Hello,
further
friends.
ado,
Welcome to That VidBlaster Guy. I'm Tom Sinclair, and I'm the host of the show. And I appreciate folks that have already joined into the chat. If you haven't figured out about the chat, there's a little arrow to the right of the screen that will bring up, first of all, information about the show. And then if you click on the chat at the top right-hand corner, it'll bring up the chat, and it'll kind of stay out there to the side. And you can chat with each other and let me know when I make a mistake. But try to keep that to a minimum.
Oh,
and that was the
wow.
beginning. That was the
Uh-huh.
beginning. That was the very first show. I called it an alpha show. because it wasn't
Yep.
a beta. It wasn't even good enough to be a beta. And anybody that approached me in the years after that said, "Tom, I want to start a show. What should I do?" I said, first of all, do a beta show and do a limited stream to your friends and your closest enemies, and make them promise to tell you the truth. Because people that love you, Amnon, will lie to you, and they'll say, "Oh, you look great. It was wonderful," but that's not helpful. It's much, much more helpful to be true and to be honest. All right, so
Yeah.
let's pick up the next part. Let's see if we can do this without breaking it.
One of the first customers that I had with VidBlaster was a gentleman in North Carolina named Amnon Nissan. And when he sent me an email, and his name was Amnon Nissan, I had no clue. I imagined somebody from Japan. I mean, Nissan is the only, automaker that I know of, Japanese. And so I really didn't have a clue anything about this guy. And then we talked on the phone, and it was definitely not a Japanese accent. And ultimately he ended up buying, I think, the home version of VidBlaster. And we spent a lot of time together, both over the phone and over email, kind of helping him getting dialed in. And that was just a ton of fun. Well, it turns out that Amnon is a genius in a lot of ways, and probably one of the most humble geniuses that I've ever met. He just doesn't mind trying things just for the heck of it. And so come to find out, he's doing this really cool computer tech show on Sunday mornings for about 6 hours every Sunday. He and a bunch of other old gray-haired or bald-headed guys get around and talk tech like they know what they're talking about. And so I wanted to invite Amnon on as my very first guest. Now, this is an alpha show, so we're not pulling out all the plugs yet. I don't have him on live, but we did do an interview yesterday, and I want to play it for you right now. I'm with Amnon Nissan with Nissan Communications up in Raleigh, North Carolina. I say up because, of course, we're down here on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. Amnon, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
Glad to have you. Having a great day down here in the South. And I appreciate you coming on this very first show. It's a new thing, obviously still bugs to work out, but it's just a treat to have you on. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine.
Well, you're very gracious.
I can say it without hesitation that it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Right.
I don't know about that. But you have got a company, Nissan Communications.
That is my broadcasting thing. My company is Delta Force.
Oh, Delta Force. Okay, sorry, that's right. You're multi-talented. But tell me a little bit about Nissan Communications and what you guys do in the broadcasting end. I just want to sort of set the table for this.
I've been doing this radio show, the Computers Something. And the reason I'm saying something is because it was changing every year until we decided Computers 2K now for this year. I've been doing this show since 1993. And in the early 90s, we started actually when the web started, the station got on. This was on the radio now, and the station was doing streaming. I didn't know anything about it, but I was always recording the show and posting it for people to download later on, or when iTunes started, we went with iTunes. In the late, I think it was 2009 or 2010, one of my co-hosts, Spence, said, "Why don't we go with video and everything?" I said, "Well, fine, go ahead and research it and we'll do it." So he came across Ustream, and we started doing Ustream from the studio. We couldn't put the camera in the production room where I was sitting doing all the controlling the board. And so we took the shot through the glass window, and it's actually 3 pieces of glass in there. So it wasn't that great, but it worked. And we were actually on Ustream while we were on the air. Then the station changed hands and decided to cut us back to 1 hour. We were doing 2 hours. And what we did is we started by doing the hour in the beginning, and then 2 hours, and the second hour we would go in the studio itself where the guest and co-host were sitting, and we'll run it from there while the station was doing its automatic thing with the music. Then they decided that there is not enough listeners, and when I heard how many listeners, we said, you know what, let's just forget about this. And I built a studio at home. It's a room that adjacent to my office, which was like a storage room. Cleaned it out. Wife wasn't that happy, and built everything that I needed with the acoustical stuff on the walls and for chroma. I'm jumping a little ahead because while we were at the station, we were doing Ustream, but then Mike was telling me about VidBlaster. And we got VidBlaster and got it from you because it was somebody local. He told me, he said, there's a guy called Tom Sinclair, and if you have any questions, he can answer it too. So we talked and we got it. So then we started doing the show from here only on the internet, and it's been like that ever since. We started with 2 hours, we went for 3 hours, 4 hours, and we topped at 6 hours one time. But we these days we say from 9 until.
9 until.
Wow.
That was a trip down memory lane, eh? Holy cow.
And there were some changes. We just went down to 1 hour.
You finally cut it back to an hour.
3 weeks ago. Yeah. You know what I noticed about this interview
Yes.
between us?
Yes.
We are both talking as though the other side cannot hear. You know how sometimes can you hear me? You know, now we are very relaxed and we just talk normally like you're next door. It's technology that it changed.
Well, we changed a little bit too.
Yeah, we did too.
I
Correct.
mean, we learned to trust the technology. We learned that we didn't need to try to compensate for things. We could compensate. The technology could be the compensation. Holy cow.
Wow.
I mean, the changes. And who was it? Somebody was in the Japs Productions is in chat saying that you are using the very same backdrop today that you used 12 years ago.
Okay. And he doesn't like it.
Oh no, I think he likes it just fine. I love it. I love it. Let's see. Let me get the full screen on it so people can see it. Oops. Oh, and you changed it. You just changed it back. You rascal. That was the one you were using yesterday.
No, I mean, it's fun to play with this, but
yes, it is.
let me put it back.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So you guys started this. I mean, you started on radio. Yeah. Let me go back to that.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. You started on radio, and then you added video, and then radio said so long. And did you think
they
at
did
that
not
point,
say so? The radio did not. The radio station did not say so long. We said so long because they stopped promoting.
Yeah.
And then they were complaining there's not enough listeners and all that. And we said, okay, so that's it. We're not going to do it.
Did you think that was the end?
Oh, I knew it wasn't because we were planning on while I was building the studio, we wanted to keep doing it on the radio to tell people, hey, to move them and make them prepare them for that.
Yes.
So yeah,
Good.
keep going. I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. But then you took those skills that you had polished and you said, let's have other people come share in what we're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, it was stupid to have. I mean, you saw the studio,
Yeah.
to have all this equipment and all this money poured into it, and for a couple of hours that we're doing a show.
And now
So
just
why
one.
not? Yeah. So I said, I put the word out, and at one time we were doing something like 11 shows, and they were all weekly shows. I mean, I was busy.
That's
Um,
great.
but
That's
it was
great.
nice. It became part of the business. It was
Yes.
it brought nice income, so it was a no-brainer.
And a lot of those people would come to your studio.
Yeah. Actually, all of them, all the hosts
All the hosts came
would
to your
come into
studio.
the studio. The guests, of course, many times were far, and we went through Skype, and we
Right.
went through, and then we went to Zoom. No,
Uh-huh.
we used Hangouts too. That's right. We used Skype, we used Hangouts, and then we went to Zoom.
Mm, mm,
We
mm.
went full-time Zoom, I think right before COVID.
Okay. Okay. And then Zoom blew up in COVID. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't miss a beat.
So tell me about some of your co-hosts.
Um, Mike Phillips was one of the first ones,
The old
along with
man.
Spence. The what?
The old man.
Well, if you said that we're not old, then he's not old.
Mike and I
Uh,
have the same birthday.
oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I think we're a year apart. Probably more
Yes.
like 10 years apart, but yeah.
So it was Mike Phillips and
Yes.
Spencer Shoemaker. Then it was, then came Nick
Nick
Craig.
Craig. Yes.
I'm trying to think who else was that is not anymore, but I think they're all we just added. Nobody left
Right.
that I can think of. I
I,
may be forgetting somebody.
I
And
remember
then
going out to dinner with
Katie.
you guys on one of my
Yep.
trips through North Carolina. And that was spectacular.
Yep.
Now, Nick, I mean, you guys, let me not just say you guys, but us guys, we are fully mature. We've got tons of life experience. You know, we have done our careers, that kind of thing. But Nick was a young rascal. I mean, he was probably a teenager back in
He
that
was a
day.
teenager when he started, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
And I mean, he didn't start with Computers 2K Now. He started doing his own show about gaming,
that's right. That's right.
Radar Gaming.
That's it. Yes. Yes.
Yep. And we're all part of a get together. There was something that what's his oh geez, I forget what's his name in New York. Still doing
Andrew Zarian?
Andrew.
Yes.
We had a group that every Friday night we would get together on Hangouts and just talk.
Aha.
And that's how I hooked with Nick, and then said, Nick, how would you like to be? He said, oh yeah.
How about that?
And he still is. And I already told Nick, I said, Nick, when I stop doing this, or if I can't do it anymore, you taking the reins. You can come here, you take the equipment, take everything. I mean, Nick helped me a lot. I am not because I'm involved with my business, I never really got into knowing all the ins and outs of vMix.
Don't
I
believe him.
yeah. And Nick did a lot of that stuff. I mean, he is very creative in how he's doing it. And I said, you come, you get the stuff, and you keep doing what your shows. So
Now,
yeah, he
just as an aside,
yeah
Nick Craig, and I think it's nickcraig.com,
yeah.
isn't it?
Now he's got
Um,
nickcraig.com now, but
and
it's got
just
nothing to do.
announced yesterday that he has got a new opportunity for
Yep,
himself. Nick is president of the Raleigh Young Republicans
the
or
North Carolina
North
Young
Carolina Young
Republicans.
Republicans,
Yeah.
and has been traveling the state and I think the country,
Yep.
working on registering folks to the Republican Party and speaking, and in meetings. And so he's a shaker and a mover. So
Yep.
you may
He
want to
is.
check out nickcraig.com. You don't have to be a Republican to go there. Um,
No, I mean
it's okay.
he's very good at what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
He's an intense
And
dude, that's for sure.
and
Um,
he still does a weekly show with Brian about gaming.
really?
Yeah, they don't do it at a certain day. It always used to be on Tuesday evening, but now it is they because of both their schedules, they do it at different times. So
Aha,
you need to go to infectionpodcast.com, and if you want to watch it live, you need to find out when the show is going to be that week.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And Spence retired. He does a lot of traveling, so missing a lot. Oh, and I forgot to mention Gal. Yeah, that's right. We added Gal also, another Israeli, um, who is very, very technical. But so Spence is traveling, and sometimes it's just if I think I missed 2 shows this year because I was going to be by myself, and I said, you know what, I'm not going to do this show. It's no fun anymore to do it by yourself because they everybody had something to do. So, but
Yes.
Gal is into he's our cord cutter specialist, and he knows his stuff. I mean, he converted us here at the house. No more cable. I mean, no more cable TV. And there's so much to that you can do with an antenna and Roku and it's amazing. But so we talk about that a lot with on the show, yeah.
Ah, well, long-term hat tip to you for all that you've done and all that you've accomplished over these years. Um, you've
Again,
inspired me and you've inspired tons of other folks with your success. And the success doesn't have to be that, that you took over Netflix or something like that.
no,
The success is that you did something that was just so much fun and that you could continue to do it over and over again and it was still fun
yep.
and you helped other people in the process and you pushed the ball forward. And so, hat tip, well done, sir. Well done. Well done.
Right back at you.
Well, it's been fun. And I remember Mike Phillips trying to teach me audio.
Mm.
Oh my gosh. Bless his heart. He'd say something about inputs and outputs, and I'd be, hold on a second, Mike. What do you mean by inputs and outputs?
Do you
It took
understand it today? I still don't.
sure.
No, you see, I still don't. And Mike was here about 2 months ago. I had a problem with I still use a hardware, a Behringer,
Yeah.
and I had a problem with it. And he took it and changed some capacitors in it and came back.
Oh
I took a
wow.
picture. I took a picture of it to know how to put it back together. He said, "Amnon, you need to learn." He made me get my label printer, and I put outputs, inputs. I mean, he said these are the outputs, and I couldn't. If somebody came in here now and played with the knobs, I am lost. I wouldn't know how to put it back together if I didn't have a picture of it. This goes here, this goes here. So yeah,
Well,
Mike helped all of us. Helped a lot of people out there with
yes,
audio.
yeah. It took me a month to understand mix minus.
Yeah, I still don't know how he's doing it, but I know what it means.
Oh my gosh. Well, y'all are a great crew, and I always enjoy the times when I got to call into the show and
It's
chat.
always fun to have
That was
you.
fun.
Yeah.
And who knows what we would talk about. Um,
And it keeps on going, and we're still making we're using new pieces of technology here and there, and keeps us on our toes and keeps us hopping. It's not a routine.
well, and here's the message, I think, for folks out there that may stumble across this video, is that you don't have to understand this new technology to use it. You don't have to
You
don't have to
don't.
know how it works, just that it works. Now, it helps to understand how it works, because if it breaks, you want to know how to fix it. But if you're willing to kind of go out on a limb there, you can use this new technology, and it'll do all sorts of awesome stuff for you. Like
Absolutely.
today we're using vMix on my end, vMix 27, which is the latest, greatest. I'm using the .81 version, which is the current version as of today. And we're using the vMix 27 implementation of Zoom. So there's a special plugin that Zoom and vMix have collaborated on that I've downloaded that allows me to connect to Zoom and set up a meeting through vMix. And then I was able to invite Amnon to the meeting, and he's got his Zoom client. So, he's got his camera and his microphone and probably some speakers there somewhere in the studio. And that's how he's
Yep.
communicating with me. Nothing fancy on his end. But he looks fantastic.
There's nothing fancy about it, and a lot of people that want to do it, like you said, should go ahead and do it. And it's not that expensive either.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't.
Yeah.
Not for what we're doing. Not for what we're
No.
doing. I mean, I get lots of folks that they want to do, they want to do churches, and they want to have 5 cameras, and they
Well,
want to do other things like that.
yeah.
They want the cameras to move automatically. And then I work with schools that want to do instant replay, and that's a whole different thing. And I had one city, Daytona Beach, has their own football venue that's used by Bethune-Cookman, and they wanted 16 cameras. Not that they were going to use them all, but they wanted the ability to have 16 cameras. So we built them a system
I
that did
remember
16
you
cameras
had
and replay.
somebody on the show that had something like 16 or more. It was in a house. It was like a reality show.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Oh my gosh. That's I'll come up with his
But
name in just a minute. Yeah, it never really made it big, but it
oh,
was sort of a Big Brother kind of thing where they wanted
yeah.
to put multiple cameras together.
But
And
this was, I
continually,
think, with VidBlaster
it was, it
in
was,
the day. Yeah.
it was way back when. Oh my gosh, I'd
Yeah.
forgotten about that one. Yeah, I don't think it
Yep.
ever happened. I mean, there are lots of people that have come up with lots of great ideas, and sometimes the technology is not ready for their idea. And sometimes the idea takes a lot more work than they're willing to put into it. I mean, who was it? Was it Thomas Jefferson or somebody said that, genius is only 10% inspiration and the other 90% perspiration. And
True.
that's true. You got to stick with it. And you and I are examples of people that were either geniuses or too stupid to quit. We just kept going.
No,
And
we're not. We're just streaming idiots.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Well, let's let's close the show and go to the post show because we've got
Sure.
some great comments and questions. And so, folks, if you've got a question for Amnon about his setup or about his history or about his his summer attire, post them in the chat, and we'll be. That's that's right. Don't take off your summer attire. We just want to talk about it. My goodness, and nobody wants to see you and I undressed. I mean, it just
Yeah.
doesn't work. All right, we'll be right back. Okay.
All
There
right.
we go. There we go. Great show, sir. Well done.
Thank you.
Hanging
You
out with you
always
is
do.
always
You
fun.
always do great shows. You don't have a dull show. And
No, but I
I
have some
gotta say,
stupid shows. Oh my gosh. The the shows where I say, let's do this. And then I haven't tried it in advance and
Mhm.
it doesn't work. But yeah,
Yeah.
you always learn something though. Always learn something. All right. So Tommy Willis is talking about the VidBlaster owner. Yeah, that was an interesting experience. It was a great opportunity for me to learn about how people from other cultures tend to think about business because they don't think about it the way folks in the US think about it necessarily. That was a shocker to me. I didn't understand that. I just assumed that, everybody was kind of on the same level. And that if you and I went into a business relationship, that we were kind of partnered on either side.
Mhm.
Not all cultures feel that way.
That's true. That's a good point.
And maybe not everybody in the US feels that way too. So Mike Lotta says that all of the OG idiots are in the house. So there we go. We're OG idiots. Oh, and Joe DeMax is in the house. I should
Hey,
figure out a
Joe.
way to put these comments up here. Can I do that? Do I have the technology that I could put a comment?
Yeah, instead
up
of where
there?
I am.
No, we'll run it across the bottom.
Oh.
Let's see. So let's see. Let's just go. Can we go somewhere? Amnon, talk about something. I'll be right. I'm going to
I'm
work on this
talking
real
about
quick.
something.
Talk about
So,
something. That's right.
boy, I haven't heard a word about or from Tom Willis in a long time. Tom, you used to log in to Computers 2K now, and we used to talk. I guess that was in the days of VidBlaster. The other day I needed to do something on the computer, and this computer that I'm on is the production machine. It was Windows 7, and now it's Windows 10. It's upgrades, update. It was never a clean install, and I still have VidBlaster installed on this machine. And all the archives, if anybody is using it, no, I'm not going to give anybody any backups. I mean, and I said, I need to remove all these. I mean, why? But that's what happened now with the bigger hard drives. I said, it's fine. It doesn't take much space. There's nothing wrong. Leave it there. It's the the nostalgia that you had on the opening screen on the splash page. It's true. I mean, sometimes you go on your computer and you start looking at folders. And you say, "Oh boy, I forgot about this." Oh, yeah, I had that. And normally on the computer, you're gonna see all kind of things. Here, you see things that have to do with streaming, and it's amazing. I can sit here sometimes, and the memories are just something is running in front of your eyes. You almost relive these moments, and it's fun. And then you come back to reality, and you said, "Hmm, much better these days. Everything is working much better now." Uh, I remember when we started VidBlaster, I had VidBlaster running with some music. Back then, it would be called pirating, but and there was nothing else, so I put it into not into YouTube. I think it was Ustream for a few days just to make sure that it doesn't break, because we had there were shows that right in the middle of the show, boom, things just fall apart. And for those of you that are interested, this is why if you look at Computer Studio now or at Nissan Communications at any of the shows, the chat is still a separate part completely from anything else. So if the video stream dies, the chat is still there, so we can tell the audience what to do. And when people were asking me again, if you look at any of the broadcasts now, it's not as many, but below the video you have YouTube, you have Twitch, you have Facebook, and you have audio only. I remember there used to be five of them, five video sources. And people say, "What for?" And I'd say, "Yeah, if
That's right.
YouTube goes down, all you have to do is just click on Facebook and you're back where you were." Or if in your part of the world, one of them, the default doesn't work, click on another source and see if it works better. And many times that worked to save the day. Um, then I said, "Okay, but what happened if the internet goes away?" So I know people will say it's a waste, but right now I have Google Fiber and AT&T Fiber. And if one goes down, I go to the other. Now I utilize both of them, the reruns, which run 24/7 on the other machine, and the ones that sends it to all the other platforms uses AT&T, and this machine here uses Google. But sometimes the internet gets screwed up, and all I have to do is really get into the networking icon at the bottom right and change the properties of the internet, the internet IPv4 settings to the other gateway, which will be AT&T, and T, and come right back. So it takes seconds to do that. And this is an experience that you get. Now, I'm not saying that you need to do that if you just do a fun uh show, but when I'm doing shows that people are actually paying money to come here and do it, you can't tell them, "Oh, sorry, internet is not working." So it's a part of the business. So it worked. Did you have internet going down in the middle of a show? Yes, you did, because I remember.
Yes, I did, apparently. Oh,
Yeah.
there was a whole time period
Yeah.
in the early days
Mhm.
when we were using Comcast cable internet, and they rolled it out before they knew how to operate it. And the only reason I stuck with it as long as I did is because they promised me, practically unlimited bandwidth, you know,
Mhm.
gigabit bandwidth, and we had 38 visits by their tech truck
Wow.
before I finally gave up And well, I didn't
Interesting.
just give up. I moved here to the studio where I am now, and I've got much better internet there.
What did you call the shows that you did from home that were all about sports? This is before you used to do a show from home
Yes, 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 yes,
that was
yes,
just sports.
yes. Actually, it was just soccer. It was
I
just
don't
local
remember.
soccer.
Yeah.
And I think it was like, all about soccer or something like that. And I had local soccer coaches come on and we would talk soccer.
Yeah.
Um, and I got
Yeah, I
some
remember
college
those.
coaches to come on, some high school coaches, some club coaches, and it was just it was a lot of fun. And that was like 2009, maybe 2010.
Yeah,
And
that's
the technology was horrible.
it was, but we made it work.
I was using a Dell desktop that had a dual core CPU, 2 cores, and live streaming at probably 480. Um, and that was back in my stupid days where I was probably doing it at 25 frames a second so I could save 5 frames of video because my bandwidth was so horrible. And I think we were streaming it at about 0.4 megabits per second. But when we did the soccer from the stadium here locally, we had an an AT&T DSL line,
Mhm.
and the max upload on that DSL line was 500 megabits. 5M, not, I mean 5K, yeah,
Bits, not
bits,
megabits, kilobits.
kilobits. That's right, 500
Yeah,
kilobits, 0.5 megabits.
yeah.
And so we were streaming at 0.3 to give ourselves some overhead.
Yeah,
Oh my
but
gosh.
yeah,
I
it
didn't
was fun.
realize it's been that long.
I'm staying at 720
Yeah?
because I mean, I'm convinced people don't come to watch the show in order to see our faces and our creases and any of that stuff. They come to learn. They come
Yeah.
to learn something, and there's no reason for me to do it.
And Mike Phillips taught me that story. He says, people will watch something with bad video and good audio, but they
Right.
won't watch it with bad audio, no matter how good the video is. And I agree, but I think people will enjoy something that has great video and great audio. I mean, with a face like yours, you ought to be in 4K.
Right. I mean,
I
the
and I do
machine,
have new eyes. I got new lenses put in my eyes last year, so I've got
so you can see me
20/20
real
vision.
good.
I can see real good, and I appreciate it when somebody sends a 4K video to YouTube,
Mhm.
and I'll watch it at home on my big screen TV in 4K, and just enjoy the tar out of it. And I'll tell you what I enjoy even more than 4K. I enjoy 60 frames a second, because the movement of 60 frames a second is so nice and realistic compared to 30 frames a second, especially if there's, any significant movement in it. So everything I do is 60 frames a second. Even at church, we're live streaming the church at 60 frames a second because we can, and because I think it looks better. Most people don't notice that that's what they're seeing. But if we were to put them side by side, they would go, "Oh, yeah, much better."
You're
And
not
that's
gonna convince me.
and that's on a PC that I used to stream this show with 10 years ago. One of the first ones I built for streaming. Still cranking it out. 1080p 60.
Well, it they work.
Yep.
Nope. So what did you that's what you did.
Yeah, I just
I see. Yeah.
I couldn't do what I wanted to do quickly enough to make it work.
But I mean, when vMix came into the picture, it made life so much easier.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah,
and it
I downloaded vMix for the first time in 2012 when I started this show,
and
and
it had a module and a half,
it was not intuitive, and
or
it
not
didn't
at
have
all.
any module. I mean, you open it up and it had, you know, two blank modules, and that was it. And I was like, ah,
What
this
is
is a
it?
toy.
Yeah.
And I turned my back on it until Nick Davidson from Michigan called me, and there was a racetrack up there that wanted two um, replay PCs for broadcast, and they wanted me to build them for them. And so I did. In fact, he drove down from Michigan down to Alabama to pick them up, and that was VidBlaster, and they got it back, and they said, this is unusable, we can't use it. And I said, well, I'll give you training, and la 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 la. They said, nope, nope, don't want to do it. We want vMix. And I'm like, oh, vMix. Yeah, I kind of turned my back on that product 2 years ago. But if that's what you want, we'll do it, and I'll figure it out so I can support you and make it work. And I contacted Martin Sinclair, and I said, I'd like to, and this was the bad old days where they would take anybody as a reseller.
Mhm.
And I contacted him, and of
Boy.
course, he and I share the same last name, so I felt like that kind of helped me get over a couple of speed bumps right off the bat. And I said, you know, what will it take for me to be a reseller? And he said, send me $1,000, and I'll send you some stuff. So that was about the price of. It was more than $1,000 for two vMix Pro licenses that had instant replay, and I became a vMix dealer because of Nick Davidson and the racetrack in Michigan, and never looked back. It
Never
was
looked back.
amazing.
Yep.
Amazing. And then I got on the horn to you, and I was like, Amnon, you got to look at this, man. This is going to solve half the problems you've got.
Yeah. Especially all the problems with the owner of
Personalities.
VidBlaster.
Yes, yes, yes.
Jeez. What an attitude.
Yeah, it's nice to look back on that,
Yeah, absolutely.
and to and to and since that era, to have made so many friends in the live streaming business, you know, friends online, and then friends that you finally get to meet in person, and then you know, those become your kind of your running buddies. Um, yeah, I mean, and in some cases, you and I, the people that you grow up with and you grow old with.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I'm not much younger than you. I'm only 20 years younger than you. So yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, look, um, I've been posting comments down below here as we've gone on. Oh yeah, this is one, Amnon. I'll let you answer this question. Joe DeMax is asking, what's a module?
Well, I mean, an input. I call them modules.
No, 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 no. He wants the whole backstory. What is a module? Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's what you got in VidBlaster, wasn't it? Wasn't it a module?
Oh, okay. That's right. There were just so many modules that you could have with every.
You could
Yeah.
arrange them however you wanted them. Yep, yep,
Yeah. That's right.
yeah.
That's right.
And you could get strikes
Well,
against you.
with Joe Max, what was the thing? Not the Skyposaurus. What did they call
Oh,
it,
that
Joe?
was what's his name? Yeah. I'll
a
come up with that one in a
quad
second.
quad Skype machine that you could have 4 people on it.
That was wasn't the tech guy had the Saturday morning show.
I don't remember, but I remember Joe had that, and he showed it. He was very proud of it. He's not going to tell me.
Yeah, Mike Lottis got it. It was Twit. Leah Laporte
Oh,
had the Skyposaurus.
yeah.
Yeah, but no doubt Joe was, wrapped up in that. Joe was a Wirecast guy.
Still?
No.
No.
Way back when.
That's right. I forgot.
When he was
It
young.
was VidBlaster,
ignorant.
Wirecast, and then vMix. That's right.
It was the Wirecast VidBlaster wars.
Yep.
Yeah. Those were great.
Yeah. Yeah, Steven came in and he got everybody on Wirecast.
That's right. I was on Wirecast for a little bit.
Yeah.
So Joe says that Twit Studio is shutting down.
Well, I thought it was already shut down years ago. You mean they're
Well,
still
that may
going?
be why it's shutting down now, because everybody thought it faded away.
Interesting.
Yep. Those were great battles, Mike. They were. Wirecast for the Mac and VidBlaster for the PC. And then Wirecast made a PC version. And then Wirecast became a figment of its imagination.
Yeah. No, vMix went about it the right way. I mean, they did it right. They listened to people. They changed things quick when they saw the need.
You know why? Ego. The vMix guys don't have ego.
Oh.
They are humble, and they don't walk into the room thinking they are the smartest people in the room.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I
they
get.
will. It was amazing how they would answer questions in the beginning. I mean, in the beginning, when you start something, I had a bunch of questions, and they, bam, bam, and that's the nice thing. The updates that are coming.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, you ask for this, they did it. It's.
And they've been victims of their own success, because during COVID they just blew up.
Well.
And, can you imagine getting 1,000 emails in a day?
Almost. Yeah, I can.
I remember one day in COVID, I got 81 phone calls one day. I didn't field them all, of course, but everybody was looking for anything and whatever, especially churches, what they could use to stream. And and vMix
I remember
got crushed.
I remember we have WRAL here in Raleigh, which is a big TV station that was first in HD and first in everything. They've got money. When COVID hit and they had to do it from home, I remember looking at the picture, and they use chroma key to do things, and it was horrendous. And I'm saying, guys, why is it so bad? I mean, you see all those the shadows, and say, what? I mean, you are professionals. Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's easy for us to take and do something like this and adjust the chroma key band, and it's done. I guess when you're using some other equipment, it's not. And they got better.
A technology that you're not familiar with, how to do the ins and outs. I mean, people will say, VidBlaster has chroma key, vMix has chroma key, Wirecast has chroma key, but I'll bet you all three of them do it differently.
I like
and
the way it's done in vMix. I mean, it makes things so much easier. I mean, I've got blue behind me, but the other side is green.
uh-huh.
And I tell hosts, don't wear green. Some of them would come
That's
in
right.
with something that's kind of on the green in the green family, and it looks bad. And I can fix it in seconds.
Yes. Yes.
Something that you couldn't have done with Wirecast or with VidBlaster. I always had a problem with. I mean, I had to give people shirts so they can do the show. Eh, but with vMix, yep, it's fine. Yeah.
Well, it's been good to me, and I'm happy to recommend it to people because I know that it will
Uh,
be successful for them and they'll have fewer phone calls
and they will be happy.
and they will be happy. Yeah.
It gives
Yeah.
you confidence when you have something that works and you can figure it out. It's a good feeling. So you don't need to worry about the technology of it. You need to worry about how to be more creative. You're
And
right.
I'll
I
have
mean,
folks call me and they'll ask, questions about, about support. So, we want to make sure we've got support for all this stuff. And I said, okay, we're here. It's a year unlimited technical support. And we do a 3-day training session when I mean not a 3-day, a 3-hour training session when you get your equipment and have it all ready to go. And 9 times out of 10, we'll do about an hour and a half of training. And then I'll tell them, I can see their buffers beginning to fill up. And I'll say, okay, you can bank the rest of it. We'll use it. You can use it anytime in the future you need to. And then I'll never hear from them again
mhm,
because
which
they
is
got it.
fine.
They got it figured out and they teach a man to fish. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Instead of game, I agree 100%.
Like you. I never hear from you anymore. I have to call you.
Yeah, but every now, I mean, I may have called you twice this year. I mean,
You do.
I call you a
You do.
couple of times a year when I run into something that "Eh, I never done this. I don't know. I'm trying. I go and I search. I can't find. Said, let me call Tom. And
Yeah.
gotta say, you always answer. Sometimes I'll leave a message and you'll get back. And but you
I'll always
always have
answer,
the answers.
but it may not be the right answer. But I will give you an answer.
I don't know. I always use it and it worked, so it's fine. I don't know. It may not be the right answer, but it works.
Well, that's right. That's right. Oh gosh. Tommy wants to know, what did
Yeah,
you call
Tom.
me? Yeah.
I call
Yeah.
him Tom.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you are a prince for taking so much time out today. I really have enjoyed our time. I know it's flown by. Yeah.
It's always like this when you're having fun.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's amazing that I mean the BNI show,
Yes.
the Triangle BNI. These people, the guests, always we never tell them how many people are watching until the end,
Yeah.
and then comes the end, and Mike will tell me, "Okay, I'm not so what are the numbers?" And I look at the thing and I said, "Okay, so we ended up last week's show with 14,000 something, and we're starting now." I mean, it's right now on Nissan Communications, there is about 6 or 7,000 viewers. I don't know where they're from. I don't collect stats. I don't nothing. But then we tell them how many were on the show. Like, yeah, you just talked to about 13,000 people. What? Oh, no. And he says, yep, that's why I don't tell you because
Yeah,
you get
really.
scared. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Very good stuff, Tom. Very good stuff. I mean, it, 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 it is, I mean, I come into the studio, I always excited, okay, I'm going to do something. What's going to happen today? What am I going to encounter and stuff? Normally things are running smooth. Had some problems with backup. Now I record on this machine,
Yeah.
and I also have the Ninja 2, the little
Yeah.
recorder.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what it was. I think one time I forgot to hit it, and the recording was not good, and I had to rebuild. And I said, "Well, I've got the other machine," so I started recording on the other one, also on the reruns machine. So I recorded now on three places, so it never have a problem. So things like these, they're like you said, what's going to happen today? You know, yeah.
And you've got the technology and the knowledge to be able to pull it off.
Yes, the knowledge comes with experiencing with experience that sometimes you have to go to the bathroom right after. It's kind of like, oh, this is really bad. Come on. And but
Well, I can't do that because if I do, I'll take this little Hollyland mic in the bathroom with me. Don't want to do that. So far, I
no,
haven't done that. So far,
no,
well, I take that back. I have done that, but the show was off the air when I did. So
no.
you got to be careful with that. Well, look, my friend, I got to go,
All right,
but please extend to Mike and Spence and Nick
Nick, and yep.
my my best wishes, especially to Nick. I really, it is my hope and prayer for him that he does what he wants to do and is successful at it.
And he will. He
Um,
will.
yeah, yeah, good.
All right.
Well, and folks, thanks for tuning in today and taking this trip down memory lane with us. To answer Mike's questions about OGs, we probably will, Mike, but they may not be OGs that you know of. They may be from other clans and other tribes that, yeah, because I are cross, I'm cross, what do you call it? I span across multiple tribes. Yeah, that's it. I'm multi-tribal.
Yeah, that's a good way to go to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're a
All right.
prince. You're a prince.
Thank you. You're the king.
Oh, well,
Ah, you are. Yes, sir.
no, I don't know about that. All right, folks, we're going to drop
And
the screen.
and
We'll have a
yeah,
word with Amnon after this. But thank you all so much for tuning in,
thanks
and we will see
everybody.
you next week.